U.S. Senator Rand Paul is firing back as some are criticizing his aggressive questioning of Hillary Clinton during yesterday's hearings on the Benghazi massacre.
As WDRB's Lawrence Smith tells us, some critics are calling the performance of the Kentucky senator embarrassing. Lawrence?
Well, among those critics, Democratic Congressman John Yarmuth of Louisville. But Senator Paul says the families of those killed deserve answers. Rand Paul's grilling of Secretary of State Clinton was one of the most riveting moments of the Senate hearing on Benghazi.
Had I been president at the time and I found that you did not read the cables from Benghazi, you did not read the cables from Ambassador Stevens, I would have relieved you of your post.
Paul called the massacre the worst tragedy since 9/11, and in an interview from Washington, he did not back down, saying the families deserve answers.
One of the things that bothered me most about the original 9/11 was that no one was fired. And as harsh as it is, when someone dies, I think someone does need to take responsibility, and those people no longer need to be in a position of making those decisions again.
But some have blasted Paul for the tone of his questioning. Do you think you were over-aggressive?
I think I was pretty fair.
But fair is not the word used by Louisville Congressman John Yarmuth, the only Democrat in Kentucky's delegation.
I thought it was a little bit embarrassing that he would throw up the specter of him as the president and whether he would fire her or not. I mean, that's a really cheap shot, in my opinion.
Well, you know, I like John Yarmuth. He and I are personal friends, and we don't always agree on policy. Sometimes we do, but on this we disagree.
Yarmuth says Paul did raise legitimate issues about embassy security. He just questions the way in which he raised them.
Certainly there's a lot of theatrics in that whole exercise that we saw yesterday, and unfortunately he was part of that theatrical performance.
People can have a different interpretation, but my purpose was for the families of those who died in Benghazi is to bring accountability and hold someone responsible for what happened.
Paul says he is not questioning Clinton's motives or calling her a bad person. He says he was trying to ask direct questions in a limited amount of time. Lawrence Smith, WDRB News.